Selling your camera gear. It is never as fun as buying camera gear, but it's definitely something worth talking about because you can go about it a number of different ways. Today we're going to be talking all about selling gear with KEH Camera and why that might be the best option for you. And just a few good reasons why you should consider selling some of your gear. Don't feel attacked, don't feel pressured. I'm here as a friend. I know how hard it is sometimes to let these cameras go. The truth is, I love film photography because I love the variety in it, and I love all the different cameras and trying out different systems, different formats, and just seeing how that makes you shoot. But in reality, in practice, in actually making photos that mean something to you and like focusing on that, sometimes all of those options just get in the way. I used to think I could be like Danny Clinch and just shoot with every different kind of camera out there and just work with that, but I like simplicity and I like consistency. For me, I've learned that the more I know my gear and the more consistent I am with my gear in terms of the aspect ratio I'm shooting with, the focal length I'm shooting with, the more I know that stuff inside and out and I don't really have to think about it, the more I can actually focus on my subject and on my photo. It's one thing if you're just walking around and making photos for yourself, but especially if you're shooting for a client, the last thing you want is to be fumbling over your gear and not really looking like you know what you're doing. So just keep it simple, keep it consistent. That for me makes a big difference. And not only that, for me, film photography is something that should be enjoyed by everybody. And if you're anything like me, whenever I was trying out a million different cameras and I always had a bunch on hand, a lot of the times those cameras would just be sitting on the shelf or in a drawer. They weren't actually being used. And I might be in the minority here thinking this, but I think that the more people who are shooting film and buying film, the better. I know that as film photography has gotten more popular over the last few years, the cameras have become more valuable, the prices have gone up, and that's upset a lot of people. But the more people that are buying these cameras, that means more film that's being purchased, which means more film is being manufactured. So I consider that a good thing. So the less people who are just hoarding all of these cameras where they're not actually getting used and people aren't buying film for them, for me, I kind of see that as a way to kind of hold back on not just the resurgence of film, but like the longevity of film photography. And I'm guilty of that for sure. I used to just keep cameras as, just in case I ever want to shoot with it, or, well, I'm going to see if the value goes up. But I have really simplified all of my gear to the point that the only cameras I own are actual cameras that I'm using every single week. And I guess like the most obvious reason to sell your gear is money. You get money for selling your gear. I don't know about you, but for me personally, I can say there have been a ton of times where an unexpected bill has popped up, or maybe something else caught my attention and I wanted to buy something. I would just simply sell a camera and then use that money for whatever I needed it for. There are only a handful of cameras that I have any kind of like sentimental value to me. Most other cameras, if I sell it, I know that if I ever really miss it, I can always buy it back, so it's not that big of a deal. I know that's not the case for everybody, but for me, it's just a tool. So obviously, if you are looking to sell your gear, there are a number of different ways to do it. But again, today we're talking specifically about KEH Camera and why that's so convenient. For starters, it's quick and easy and guaranteed. You don't have to really worry about putting something up for sale and hoping someone buys it or negotiating on prices back and forth with a potential buyer. I've sold cameras or other gear directly to buyers in the past where it's sold quickly, but there have been plenty of times where I've just had something listed online for sale for weeks or even months and nobody buys it. I've also run into a few situations that were a little bit sketchy where the buyer was actually trying to like scam me and weren't actually sending the proper money and were asking if they could send the money after the item arrived, which no. There's just a lot of headache and sometimes some risk that you're taking when it comes to stuff like that. But with KEH, you can literally do everything directly from your house. You don't even have to leave your house to sell your gear to them. Through their website, you can actually just choose the gear that you're listing and then choose the condition, and they'll give you an instant quote right there on the site. Another way to get a quote, which I think might just be a sign of the times, but it's actually really convenient, they can actually hop on a video call with you with one of their inspectors from KEH, and they'll basically walk you through how to check everything out on the camera and give you the best quote possible. They have tons of videos on their website and on their YouTube channel all about that. Definitely check it out, it's pretty rad. And one of the coolest things about this is if your quote meets a certain value, they'll not only send you the shipping label, but you can actually just call to have FedEx come and pick the package up, so you literally don't even have to leave your house. Right now, with the holidays right around the corner, it's a good time to kind of take inventory, see what you're not really using, and see what could be turned into potential holiday cash. And I am in no way looking to sell any of my cameras, but just for fun, let's see. So we go to KEH.com and click on the Sell tab up here at the top. And our internet is down. think Leica might have heard me talk about selling my camera. They're trying to intervene. Okay, no, we're back. So we'll search for what we're selling for. Leica M6, we want the TTL version, the 0.72 magnification in the viewfinder, and the chrome body. There it is, right there. Condition, I mean, to me, I think it looks fine. The bottom has some scuffs. Top plate overall is pretty clean. Some tiny, tiny dings. This thing was like mint when I got it. It's okay, it's seen some use for sure. We're gonna be generous, we're gonna go bargain. I would say bargain condition. That's the thing about KEH, they're really good about how they rate their gear. So if you buy something from them in bargain condition, it's usually what I and probably most people would consider like excellent condition. So we're gonna go bargain on this one. Bargain, and boom, there we go. Now obviously what KEH will pay you isn't what they're going to sell the camera for, because they're a business, they need to make money. The nice thing about this, and kind of the advantage of this, is that it's just a guaranteed thing. You are going to get that money, and seeing it on an instant quote, I mean, I'm not tempted because, you know, I'll knife somebody if they try to come between me and this camera. But that's kind of the beauty of it, is no matter what kind of camera or lens or really any gear, it's not just limited to cameras and lenses. You can do tripods, you can do lighting equipment, you can do all different kinds of camera gear. Anything that's related to photography, they can basically buy and then resell any of that on their site. They have pretty much everything. And you can do this with like a number of different items and kind of build out essentially your cart that you would ship to them, not that you would purchase. It's pretty convenient. Okay, real quick, I just realized I left out probably the most important thing in this video, and that's the promo code for you guys, which is probably what you're most interested in anyway. So if you're selling your gear into KEH, make sure you use the promo code MDSELL, and that'll get you an extra 5% on your quote. And then if you're buying anything from KEH, make sure you use the promo code MATTD, and that'll get you an extra 5% off of your order. So if you're looking to sell some camera gear, whether it be to simplify, clear up space, or just make some extra holiday spending money, definitely check out KEH.com. And on that note, if you're looking to buy anything for a photographer in your family or just yourself, no judgment, definitely check out KEH.com, because again, they have a massive inventory. Anything you would need, whether it be cameras, lenses, tripods, lighting, they have a massive inventory, great customer service, great rating system, so definitely check them out. So thank you KEH for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. That's it for today. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.